Would you please give us your thoughts on the match and your level of play now through a very successful first week at the Open?
Yeah, great match. Always great, to finish in straight sets. The more matches you can win in straight set, the better. First set, I think, Pablo didn't play his best level, so I just took advantage and, took the points I needed to take. Second and third set was much tighter, a lot of long rallies. He had break points to come back at 5-all. So I'm really happy that I managed to, win the match without being at 5-all, because that's the tough score already. Less than 2 hours, so only positives. And again, happy with my level, happy with everything.
Okay, very good. Questions? Craig, go ahead.
Daniil, next round is Dan Evans, who's just had a marathon against Alexei Popyrin. How would you describe him as a player, and what would you have to do against him?
I think it's tough to describe him with one word, but definitely very tricky, and I would think very smart, because he doesn't have one shot that is a weapon, and yet he's a top player for many years already. And the way he chooses the right moment to go to the net, to slice, to make a drop shot. His serve is not huge, but it's tough to return. So great player. I think I heard today in the locker room, I think people saying I love watching him play. And it's probably most of us like watching him play. I saw that he was 2 sets down. I watched a little bit the 5th set, what a tiebreak from him. And first time actually playing against him, so never easy, but want to show my best level. That's how I will have my chances to win.
Would you say he's a scrappy player?
What does it mean, scrappy? I don't want to insult him, and I don't know the word.
That he'll just dig things out and just scrap for looking for scraps and get anything.
100%, and I think that's his strength. And again, that's great that he has these strengths, because again, not sure if he would go out on the court and just say, okay, today I'm going to try to hit 60 winners, hit 20 aces and win the match like this. Not sure he would succeed. But again, yet he manages to make unbelievable results, beating Novak this year in Monte Carlo, and a very tough opponent to play for anybody. So that's his strengths,
Okay. Brian?
Brian Mahoney, Associated Press. I want to ask some tennis advice from you. Since the pandemic started last year in the U.S., a lot of people have turned to tennis, new players. If I'm a new player and I want to get good, besides playing a lot, like how do I beat people? What have I got to do here?
Tough for me to say. I've been playing tennis since I was 6. I would say, first of all, definitely you need practice. You can watch any video on YouTube. It's the same for anything in life. You can watch any video on YouTube. You can, watch us play for 24 hours per day. When you will take the racket in the hand, that's not going to be the same story. Actually, when I was very young, I once saw an amateur who couldn't put one ball in the court, but his technique was exactly the same as Roger, I swear. And it's not only about this. I think, the most important is practice. When I say practice, of course, if you're just playing with your friends, I'm not talking to do 5 hours of gym and 5 hours on the tennis court with a tennis coach. Just go out and play, not once a month, but once a week, and you're going to improve faster.
Really good.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN. Given your experiences here at the U.S. Open in past years, how would you describe what you've been through this time and your thoughts about the way you're playing and feeling?
Great. Definitely. I had, let's say, 2 successful US Opens, if we're talking about success. Finals, semifinals, went quite far. Was feeling, I think 2020 I was feeling even better than 2019, and right now also. But 2019 was different because it was my first Grand Slam where I broke through in the Grand Slams. So it was a different energy with the crowd and everything. Here it's more, I'm more mature when I talk about tennis. I'm feeling I can do big things. But I know that for this I need to continue playing good. And again, the further you go, the tougher matches and tougher opponents you get. You just need to stay consistent and bring out your best every match.
Bill, good.
Bill Simons, Inside Tennis. So follow me here. A couple of years ago, you had the whole crowd on Armstrong up in arms against you, and then just, I don't know, a few days later, the Ash crowd thought you were just fabulous. You just completely turned it around like no one else really has done that I know of. If the tennis god said to you, hey, Daniil, you got to give this guy Tsitsipas a tip or two to turn this around, what would you say?
Well, you know, it's tough to answer because a lot of things going through my head because your question is a bit tricky in a good way. But I want to say, you know, we all need to go to change sometimes closes. Somebody does it 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. What happened with him and Murray happened. He got booed. At least next match don't go out for 8 minutes. And that's what he did. So if you remember 2019, I did a mistake. Well, I was not continuing to do it every other match. Otherwise, the crowd would not go behind me. So that's the only advice I can give, you know. And I mean, he has his own life, so he probably won't listen to my advice.
Okay, we're going to go virtual for several questions in English. Lucas, name and affiliation. You are live.
Hi, Daniil. Lucas Weiss with USOpen.org. Congratulations on your win in advancing. It's been 21 years since Marat Safin won at the US Open, and I know you were quite young when he did win at the US Open. I'm just curious if you remember anything from that win of his and just what it meant for you at such a young age to have someone like Marat to look up to, who was obviously from your country and succeeding at Grand Slams.
Yeah, I was 4 years old and I started playing tennis at 6, and I didn't follow tennis at all before. I was not from the family where, starting from 2 years old, I knew I was going to be a tennis player. I do remember him winning Australian Open though, so again, I cannot tell anything about US Open. It's just great that he has won it for the history, and I watch his photo every time I go to practice courts. Very young, very handsome, nice photo. But again, having somebody like Marat when I was young and starting to play tennis, I think I catched the moment where he was #1 in the world. And that was amazing to watch, and that's big inspiration, because you go out, you're 7 years old on the tennis court, and all your friends and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be like Marat Safin. Well, not everybody succeed, but that's better when you have somebody like this to look up from your country.
Okay, thank you. And our final question will be Ubaldo. Ubaldo, welcome. You are live.
ubitennis.com. I'd like to know, talking about numbers, if you think that it's more probable that Djokovic will win this Grand Slam, after winning 23 matches and 64 sets, or if it's easier that the numbers that Sports Illustrated gave, 70% of the players are not vaccinated, will change.
Say it again. Sorry, say again the numbers, because I couldn't follow it. Say it again.
Say it again. Okay. Do you think it's more probable that Novak Djokovic will win the Grand Slam after having won already 23 Slam matches and 64 Slam sets, or that the number that Sports Illustrated said belongs to the players who are not vaccinated would be 70% right now for them? Do you think it will change, one or the other?
First of all, I think the second one will change. But again, I couldn't follow the numbers exactly, so I think the second one about players vaccinated will change faster. But the thing is that I don't know where Sports Illustrated got this info from, because I know a lot of players who are vaccinated, but just they don't say it for different reasons. For example, talking about myself, I want to keep my medical, if you can, I don't know, in Russia you call it a medical card, like medical book. I want to keep it private, just so my, talking about anything, COVID, shoulder injury, wrist injury, ankle, whatever. Just because like anybody, I can have some problems with my health, and I don't want my opponents to know about it. So I would doubt that these numbers are right from them.